Oh, thank you for joining me. It is Tahitian Tide Day. I just love this color. Absolutely gorgeous. Reminds me and sounds just like a vacation. My name is Tina Kvergich, Northern Stamper, and if you have any questions, please drop me an email at northernstamper@gmail.com. Let's get started on today's Takeaway Tuesday using the new In Color Tahitian Tide. Love it. Fantastic. What we're going to do first, we have our card base, and what you're going to do is actually place a little score in the middle at the 4 1/4 mark. Also, before we get started, if you want, there is a piece of white. You can dry emboss that if you like, and what I did is I embossed this with the gingham embossing folder. I ran it through the Stamp and Emboss machine. Looks fantastic. One of my absolute favorite embossing folders. I have used this for so many different things. I am absolutely in love with this. I don't think I've ever used an embossing folder as much as I have this one. Fantastic to add if you love embossing folders. We have our two rectangular pieces of Tahitian Tide. Notice they are two different sizes. Hopefully they are two different sizes. If not, you need to have one that's a little larger and one that's a little smaller. And then we have our two pieces of Designer Series paper here, which pulls in some of the Tahitian Tide, and I just got some scrap paper for some sentiments that we're doing. Now in your packages there is some extra ribbon. If you like, you can use that if you want. There's a beautiful black and white one. Try that. That'll look really good with this. So in the meantime, let's get started. Don't forget to dry emboss with your embossing folder. It is going to look really much nicer when it's embossed as opposed to just a plain white card. So what we're going to do is we are going to score this at the 4 1/4 mark. You can always fold it, but I find the scoring actually makes much better on the edge than if you would just fold it over. So we have that. This is our card base. We are going to be making it landscape today, so this is the way we're going to do it, a little longer and as opposed to higher. So the first piece on what we're going to add is we're going to actually glue down the piece of the embossed piece of white, and you'll notice it should fit all the way around with a beautiful border around that. So let's add a little bit of glue and pop that on. Now today's card is to showcase the color of the Tahitian Tide. Like I said, these ink colors are actually stunning, absolutely stunning, and a great little package if you can get the inks all together. The inks, and there is a paper pack in there that has a few of each ink color. Grab that. That is a great way to begin getting some of the ink colors for cardstock. Okay, so we have that glued down on there. Now we are going to look at the Tahitian Tide, the little rectangles, and there is one that's a little larger and one that's a little smaller. Okay, so I got one that's smaller and larger. So what we're going to do is we are just going to pop on each of those. I'm going to double check before I glue. Yes, look, they fit perfectly on there. Looks great. I'm going to glue those down, the Designer Series paper onto the Tahitian Tide cardstock. And again, we have that beautiful frame all the way around. Oop. Now, ooh, see, before you glue, double check to see what side you like. Oh, I really like that flower side, so I'm going with the flower side. See? Always check before you glue. You never know what side is going to pop up for you, your favorite. So I'm going to do is place one on there and this one over here. I'm just going to lay it down so you can get the idea of what I'm doing here. Now, you can always change the design if you want it up and down. You can also go like this. This works well too. If you don't want it that way, that's okay. Let's see if how it looks if it's on portrait mode. You know, again, we can go like this. We can move them around. Like, why not? Who says that we have to keep... Wow, actually, I'm thinking I like this one way better. This is not part of the design I wanted. So I'm going to show you my initial card. Here's my initial card design. I had it this way, but boy, that looks really nice too. So I'm actually going to go it that way. It always works kind of moving things around. So I've got this little leftover piece of label from a card I made a couple of weeks ago. I just kind of had this kicking around. Let's see, what can I do? Wow, that actually looks pretty interesting behind that. Oh, really? You know what? I could add some Tahitian Tide and a little bit of blending brushes on that. And you know what? I think I'm actually going to do that. Make it pop out. I like that. Kind of move your images around a little bit. See what you can come up with. You know what? You might have, oh, let's see. I like that too. Wow, that kind of works too. See, you never know. And use some of the ribbon. I could put some of the ribbon on there. That would look really nice too. I could also use the black and white ribbon. Try it out before you glue it down. So I'm going to use the little blending brush. I kind of want this piece of white to pop out. And actually I'm going to use that as my little sentiment tag. So I got some blue on here. And I'm just going to add a little bit from the blending brush around the edge. You can barely see it. The color on there, ooh, it looks like an earthquake here happening. You can barely see it, but once I lay it on the white, it will actually stand out a little bit. And I'm going to actually use a sentiment from Sweet Songbirds. I like how it's a nice clean lettering on this, and it's going to fit really well on this sentiment tag. So let's get a little bit of a sentiment, and I'm going to use the Tahitian Tide, and as the ink. Love this color. Got to tell you, one of my favorite. It's not often that I have all the colors are my favorite from the ink colors. Usually it's one or two, but oh, okay. Let's see how that works. Oh, that does fit in, and you can barely see the color of the Tahitian Tide on there. Looks really good. I like that. And I'm actually going to do it this way because if I did it the portrait way, oh, let's see if I can try. I really like the portrait way too. Oh, it's a tough choice. I might actually have to make a few more. So I like this little tag part, but it doesn't quite fit in. And I don't think anybody's going to read it sideways. So I think I might have to go with it this way. So initially I had it so that they would overlap, but I kind of like this being behind it. And I'm going to hide my sentiment behind there. Actually, it looks really good. I can add a piece of ribbon, and let's take a look for that ribbon. All right, what I decided to do, because this is Tahitian Tide, you know, in the catalog, they have Tahitian Tide metallic ribbon. And actually, this is going to be the perfect color on here. And I'm going to wrap that around that piece and make a bow. This is going to look fantastic. One of my favorite things about Stampin' Up! Is everything matches. I am very happy with that. Everything matches, the ribbons, the embellishments, the paper, the ink. Wow, can't go wrong. So what I'm going to do is actually take a little bit of an adhesive dot, okay, and we're going to pop that on here just to hold that bow in place. I'm going to roll it a little bit and squish the bow on top. I'm going to bring this around, tape it on. You know what I'm also going to do? There we go. Looking fantastic there. Tape it around. I love that. Looks really good. Oh my goodness, this is coming together. All right, I am going to glue down this piece of Designer Series paper, and I'm going to place it, which way? How was I going to do this? This way, this? This piece is going to be flat, so I'm going to place that all the way down and kind of in the corner. I'm going to add some adhesive to the sentiment and tuck it in. There we go. Pop it down, and let's get some dimensionals to pop up this piece so that it gives some dimension to the card. You don't want everything to be completely flat. There we go. Add a couple of more dimensionals. These are the little tiny black dimensionals, so I'll add a couple of extra on. There we go. Pop that on. And add a little bit of Wink of Stella if you want. But wow, isn't that fantastic? What a great looking card. Very simple. Very nice. If you wanted this to stand out a little bit more, you can always use a darker color if you like. So, Tahitian Tide, what a great color that is. There's my original. I kind of checked it out, but I think I like this one way better. So what do you think? Fantastic. I'd love to see what yours turns out and what you've chosen for your sentiment and whether you added a bow or what. Don't forget to comment below so I can see what's going on. I am happy that you are able to join me today. And don't forget, next Tuesday, here at 10 o'clock, another Takeaway Tuesday with Northern Stamper. Any questions? northernstamper@gmail.com. Have a great day.